and welcome to Werks. My name is James. So this is going to be the video that announces the 500 subscriber giveaway that closed at midnight Alaska time yesterday. So last night, just less than 12 hours ago. I paused the comments right at midnight. So there is a total of 98 comments minus mine. Be 97, some duplicates. I had the generator rid any chance of somebody having duplicate participation. So we'll get into this here a little bit later. I know that's why you guys tuned in, but I think this is a good opportunity to talk about some things, get caught up a little on some of my videos that I've been wanting to do. We had a pretty good holiday weekend, very good holiday weekend. Our daughter, son-in-law, and grandson came down over the holiday weekend, and they just left this morning. They're driving all the way back up to Fairbanks right now. Pretty cold here in Anchorage. It was negative 21 degrees this morning. It's currently negative 44 degrees where they're going. So prayers for their safe arrival at home and safe travels to anybody that's traveling along that highway. It's always nerve-wracking as a parent when your kids do things, even as adults, that are pretty risky. And, as any one of you know, it's pretty risky traveling on these roads anyway, and you add on the temperature, the ice, bad drivers, it makes it pretty stressful. So now they're not here, I'm able to come into the room, my room, and record this video with a little less distractions and go over a few things. Now, first I want to talk about a few things that I received. One of them is from a friend, a subscriber that I met. He reached out to me early on, earlier than many, I should say, and we ended up building a pretty strong friendship. And early on we worked out a small trade for a few things, and then mid discussion, he added on a few more things, asking if I could do something later at a later time when I'm caught up. No obligation to interrupt any of the current projects that I'm working on. And I told him I would do it as long as he understood that. And he said, absolutely. And, he sent me a very generous box. And this individual's name is Graham. And he's one of my first subscribers, and he's been around a while. Really great guy. I mean, down to earth, just really solid individual. And I'm proud to call him a friend. In talking with him, as getting to know him a little bit more, I realize the things he offered to trade were definitely things that he said that he didn't have a lot of higher end things, but he sent some really nice things, and I can't thank him enough for that. But at the same time, there's a little bit of internal guilt, and I don't want to take away from somebody's collection. And I expressed this to him, but he assured me that what he was getting in return was much more meaningful than the things that he sent out, as these are, with the exception of a few things I'm going to point out, of course. I'm talking like the knives. But the knives, he said, are always replaceable. And the knife he's going to get in return isn't. And I kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I wasn't going to do that, but seeing as I did it, and I'm a little bit of a big mouth, and this, again, is a project that I'm going to take on later for him. But I'm going to rehandle this knife for him. Pretty simple project when you talk about the grand scheme of what I do. And it'll be something that I can get done over the course of a weekend or something when I'm not terribly busy. But that's going to be a fun project. A little change of pace from what I've been doing. And it goes back kind of to where I started, and it helps refresh some of those skills. So in addition, you know, I sent, like I said, I sent him a box, a couple boxes actually, a few trades. And the one thing that he sent me some pictures, and I expected to just get the knives in the box. You know, I didn't expect anything more. And these are just some of the highlights that I received in the box. This is not everything. The other things were really cool, but they weren't. I guess these are the ones that I see the big value in what he sent. And I want to thank him because I know how much some of these things do cost if you went out and bought them new. And I appreciate it. So I'll start up here from the top. So this, I didn't have any of these, and now I have one, and I'm pretty pleased with it. This is a beautiful knife. This is a Puma Stockman, and it is in fantastic shape. I never knew what the hype was with all of these. I knew about the White Hunter and everything else, and I knew Puma had a really good reputation. Always focused on like Hen and Rooster and things like that coming out of Germany, never Puma knives. But I don't know, I'm glad that he had this because it kind of opens up my eyes. And let me try to get a little more light so you guys can see a little more detail. As you can see, that's some beautiful stag. It's put together real well. Every single one of those blades is brand new, unused. They have a great amount of snap to them. So very cool knife. And this is a autumn peach seed rust lock. And this is a 2000 model. So, you know, pretty rare, especially to have the box and everything. And I really love that orange color. Orange and purple happen to be my favorite colors, especially on knives. And I think that just pops. That's super cool. I think the rust lock is a really unique knife. I don't have that many in my collection. I know a lot of people love them or hate them. They call them the woodpecker knife. But with that being said, it's a very unique knife, very well built, and I think it's, because of that, it's a cool collector's item. He also sent me this. This is what they call the burnt, let me get this right, burnt bright green bone corn cob jig copper lock, and it is a Shepherd's Hill exclusive, and it's from last year. So, really cool blade. The one thing, you know, I realized when I ordered that, or not ordered that, when I received that, is I had ordered one from Shepherd's Hill, and I already had one. So I got two of those, and they're both 2025s. This one I think is much better than this one. So I might offer this up for trade. I'll see. I'll let you guys know if you guys have anything you'd want to trade for this. This is something that I might be willing to let go. I'm not going to let the one that I got from Graham go. That's going to stay in my collection and stay there. But the one that I ordered, which is a really nice knife, I just think this one has better toasting. That's going to stay with me. And, you know, another cool one that I didn't have is this. This is called the Kershaw Launch. It's an auto. This I'm going to rotate into my carry. This is a really solid, cool knife. Love Kershaws, love ZTs. This is not a ZT, of course, but you could tell there's definitely a lot of design cues that they took from the ZT and made kind of like a little ZT auto, so to speak. Really cool knife. Thank you, Graham. Now, there's a few things in here that I was pretty, I reeled back when he told me where they came from. In talking to him about some of his other hobbies, he said that he went out and for his whole life, he's went and collected Native American artifacts that are found in his neck of the woods. And he has an extensive collection of found artifacts. And after I showed him or in my video, showed what Red Eye Patriot made and some of the tools from my culture that I had collected, I think I alluded that I didn't have any Native American arrowheads in my collection or spearheads. And looking at these, I would guarantee they were either for a larger bow, at least this one, the way it looks like an arrowhead, so probably a large arrowhead, and this one for a spear, and this one as a spearhead. So obviously the way that they're shaped tells me they were for different purposes. This might have even been, it looks like this is lashed on to this point, and this might have even been some kind of knife that was used on both sides, just because of how broad that head is. That's where my thinking goes with this on this, as I guess drawing from my, primitive reasoning, not anything based on science or anything, but just on how they would look, how I could see the application of those being used. He said that he found these two very cool, very cool. I mean, I can't tell you how it feels to hold something that was once held, probably could have been centuries ago. That to me is just amazing. And the one that, in talking to him, that was probably the most meaningful thing that he gave me, and I will never let this go. This will go to one of my kids when I pass on, is this spearhead that was found by his father. And his father, Graham, I'm sorry, I need to share a little bit why this is important. Graham's father passed, and he, of course, had a very close relationship with him. And knowing that about him and having received this that was given to him from his dad to him, I can't tell you how humbled and I am to receive that. I don't know what to say other than I will cherish it. It will go in my collection. It will have a very good place in my collection, always will, and it will never go anywhere, and it will always be appreciated. Even holding it right now and looking at that, I can't tell you how amazing it is to me, again, to hold something that, what is that old and might have been used to, catch their food, whether it be a buffalo, a deer, or something else, or to defend themselves. That to me is just absolutely amazing. Going forward, he sent me also these older case marbles, which I think is so cool because I only have a handful of these. We don't ever see these here in Alaska, and they're neat, and I have them displayed in front of a few of my vehicles with my knives. And I bought them all from Jolly Dan's in Alabama when we took that road trip. And after I bought them, I wish I would have bought more when we were down there. And when I was thinking that, I opened the box from Graham and he had these two in here. So these are going to quickly find a place on my display shelf. This is the largest one I have, and that's really neat. That's so cool to have. I appreciate that so much. Now, he said that this was a newer one. I think these are called chevron beads. I understood from watching a few guys out there. There's a guy on YouTube that I enjoy watching. His name's Chief Smoke'em. He's a pretty funny guy, all around good personality, but he does artifact hunting and he goes to rummage sales. He goes out and shoots the guns that he gets. He used to do videos on a few case knives that he used to collect, and he stopped doing that. I wish he would do that a little bit more. But again, I'm going to give him a shout out because that's how I learned of these things. And I I think you guys should go over and look at his channel and go look at what he has to offer. If for anything else, he's very entertaining and very personable. But Grant, I appreciate that. That's so cool. And just beautiful looking at it. It feels really good in the hand. And as I was talking, that feel is something that, you know, I think not only is gratifying to have when you're working with a tool or something else, but that definitely gives you that sensation that it was well made. He also sent this. I think this is a original chevron bead, and it has some other beads on there. That's obviously some kind of bone. I think that also is some kind of either stone or bone. That looks like maybe antler. But I thought that was pretty cool. And this, I mean, more than anything, this him taking the time to make a bead, a lanyard bead for me. Something he took the time, and he'll tell you that his skill isn't all there to make something like this. And he just wanted to whittle it down. I think, you know, it takes a lot more than one would want to understand or believe that. Hold on one second, my light is dying. So what I was getting at is that takes a lot more skill than somebody would think. And I appreciate that. Graham, thank you for the wonderful box, the great trade. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your friendship. And I look forward to talking with you for years to come. I'm going to quickly clear these off the way because, again, I got a few other things I want to talk about. And I'll try to put a fast forward point up here to those of you that just want to skip forward to whoever won the slip and the other things. But I would appreciate it if you guys stuck around and at least watch some of the video, because this is a pretty important video to me. As I said earlier, I was waiting on a few gifts from my wife and my daughter, and I wanted to share those with you. But before recap, I got that from my oldest son and my oldest daughter, and they got it for me because they said they remember watching this show with me when they were younger, as they were growing up. But that's a mini trapper, pretty fitting, seeing as it is Trapper Time, Trapper Week. And that is an Orange County Choppers, American Chopper case knife. And I tell you what, they know that orange is one of my favorite colors, and that is awesome color. Knife has half stops, very well quality, very quality built, quality made. It's a 2005. I think that was probably about the height of that show. And I did a short on this, but this is a Case Barlow that my youngest boy bought for me. And I want to say it was a 1999. Beautiful stag. Awesome gift. Thank you, son. My oldest girl and my granddaughter got me this Patriot Trapper. Again, you see a theme going here. There are some trappers here. But I had a few in this collection. My granddaughter knew I didn't have this one. She takes some trips with me to Bass Pro or Cabela's, and she knew I was eyeballing this one. And my oldest daughter used her as a scout and ended up surprising me with this. So thank you. Thank you, girls. And my third girl ended up getting this. I just got this in the mail, you know, I think it was on Friday or Saturday. And I just didn't have the time to make a video of these or shorts or anything this past few days because it's just been, like I said, real busy. But this is dark red burlap micarta smooth red sodbuster junior, and this is carbon steel. Of course, you can tell by the box. But she asked, and the kids asked what I kind of was looking for, and I didn't have kind of a sodbuster junior that was anything other than the other smooth handles, and I wanted something that had like the burlap texture and that color right there. I thought that was a really neat sodbuster in looking at that. Very nice solid carry knife. This actually is going to go in a slip that I made for it. So that will go in there. And I apologize for the lighting. Didn't expect for my light to die that quick. Okay, that might work out. Maybe not. So thank you. Now, the one I've been waiting for and kind of honestly a little impatient about, and that's one of my biggest flaws, is I can be a very impatient individual at times. And the person that knows that best is the one that bought this for me as a gift, and this is from a beautiful wife, Teresa. So I don't know if you guys know what this is, and there's a lot of videos on this, and I would encourage you guys to go and look over those videos. But this is the Boker M4 Sherman damasked steel, so Damascus. And basically the thing that makes this special is that's Damascus that is made from the Sherman tanks. And this is serialized, of course. But man, I've been wanting this knife, and she knows it, and you know, she knows me real well, and I can't tell you how happy this makes me to have this knife. This, man, sometimes you just feel undeserving of things, and this is one of those times when you get a gift when you know not only the value, but the thought that goes behind it. It almost makes you feel like you're not worthy of receiving such gifts. And again, I am super happy to have this. This is very cool. I mean, it's going to be tempting to carry this, and there might be a time and place where I might do it, but for the most part, I think this is going to stick on the shelf because of what it is. And let me try to get a better angle at that Damascus. Thought that was a scratch. Comes with this cool display case that has this like silicone, clear silicone, that when you close it, it wraps it around it so it looks like it's floating. Super, super cool. Man, I really, really am grateful for that gift, and I love you. Thank you, babe. I love you so much. Girls, kids, those were very thoughtful gifts. I really appreciate you guys You know, you know I love you, and I hope that you guys know that every single thing that you guys got me I'll cherish forever. Which brings me to gifts from my youngest girl. You know, I don't know, I guess maybe she didn't want to do the whole knife thing, but she also knows me too, and she ended up finding me these pretty rare Hot Wheels. And this one right here is called a Hot Bird, but if you watched any of my videos, you see I got a Smokey and the Bandit car, the Dukes of Hazzard, General Lee, I got a Knight Rider, a few others, but these are cars from my childhood. And this, as I got a little older, these 80s Mustangs are really cool. I think underrated, one of the cooler Mustangs, even though they don't look like Mustangs. I think they're one of the neater ones because they did kind of go outside the box. But from my understanding this is a pretty rare Hot Wheels, and I have on my shelves, as well as my knives, I have some Hot Wheels and some other things. But this is from my youngest girl. Call her my baby girl, you know, thank you, love you. You know, my second girl, of course, all my kids, like every other kid out there, is different. I can't show you what she got me, but she got me multiple bags of Hawaiian peaberry coffee when she went to Hawaii. And of course, I can't show you those because they're all gone. I drank them, which coffee, I can tell you that's another thing. With all that being said, you know, this video, we're already approaching the 30-minute mark. I was trying to keep it below or at 30 minutes. I do have quite a bit of things that I want to get caught up on. I have a bunch of shorts that I want to do, and I want to take some smaller projects and do a few short videos of that. As I said before, I'm right in the middle of a number of projects, and I feel a little bit awkward about starting a video mid-project and kind of saying, hey, this is where I'm at. Especially when maybe the projects, especially if they're in trade or they are from a customer, might not want them shown on YouTube. So I'm not going to do that. But with that being said, as I'm working in my shop and I'm working on some of these things, if I come across a tip or a trick that I can say, okay, I want to film this portion of it, I'll go ahead and do that. I know that you guys are really enjoying those tips and tricks and how to do certain things in the shop, and I'm humbled by that because I know there's better people at it than I'm better at it than I am. And it's not only humbling, but it's a little intimidating when you have a lot of people watching your content and looking at what you're doing, because, you know, there's always critics out there. And I don't want to come across as somebody who thinks they know it all. You know, I just happen to know a little bit about a lot. And I want to be able to share that and, you know, go from there. You know, before I move on to the drawing, one last thing I want to do is kind of acknowledge a few things that I think I have not taken the time, because I haven't made any long form videos. But kind of explain a little bit, like about the knife slips. I honestly, before I had the SJ Relics knife slips, I had 2 knife slips. I had this case knife slip that I ordered, which has a copper lock in there, mini copper lock. That's always been in there. Loved it. I mean, that's kind of why I started liking slips. Carry that quite a bit. And since then, I got a few other case slips, different ones. I got a variation of them. Ordered this off of eBay when I saw it. I bid on it for like 99 cents and I won it. Nice quality, thick leather. It had a belt loop on there, and I kind of pulled those off. And hindsight, I don't know, that looks a little unorthodox or something I don't really care to look at. And I've been trying to find a way to cover that up, but maybe the best way to cover it up was to not take that off to begin with. But it is what it is, you know, and whether that's a machine stamping or handwork, and I think it is machine stamping, but it doesn't and it shouldn't take away from the beauty of leather. It's one of my only natural color knife slips I have, and I like that. That's a nice knife slip. I can't talk about S.J. Relics without showing one of his slips. That, of course, has my initials. Absolutely phenomenal work. He made that with my two favorite colors and the stitching, the thread right there. Of course, has his Native American chief with the headdress. Absolutely cool, natural, like lightning strikes or whatever you might want to call that within the leather. And as you can see, he has some really nice curves to his slips. I mean, there is not any hard lines, any sharp corners or anything like that. And that's pretty, I think, across the board with Stephen. You know, but that's about the straightest line I've seen on a slip that he's made. And here's another one that he made. I've put a short of these, but look at that. Almost looks like a snake or something, or a river. Let's just call it a river. Awesome work. But I guess what I was getting at is when I started making my slips, I did it because I wanted some. I didn't know where to get them from. And I seen them online, but they look kind of not custom. They look like they were factory made. And after I had my surgery and I knew I had some leather laying around, I just sat there and just like anything dangerous, I started watching some YouTube videos on how to. And I thought to myself, man, I could do that. And I had some leather tools, of course, from doing leather work on sheaths and other things on knives I made. And it made it much easier because I had a little bit of experience working on leather. Never made any slips, but I made sheaths, and I made sheaths with leather and Kydex combinations. And I wanted to start making slips, but I also didn't want to just make like a standard like square slip or anything like that. And I took a few design cues from not only S.J. Relics, but I'm going to call out and say A.W. Designs. You know, he has some beautiful slips. And I know I haven't, and I guess this is why I want to do this video, is I want to acknowledge that I wasn't trying to copy. I was trying to emulate because I respect his artwork. I respect his design. And you know, I wanted one of his slips, and I haven't been able to get a hold of him. So if any of you know him, point him in the direction of my video. I would really appreciate that because in looking and watching his videos, I seen him, he made a few slips that had the top cut corners with the eyelet for the lanyard bead hole. And I was like, man, what a cool design. And I, again, figured I could probably make something similar to that. I don't sell my slips. I often trade them. And I know as an artist, when other people do things that kind of feel like they're quote unquote copying you and bumping away customers from you, it leaves a kind of sour feeling in your stomach. And I want you guys to know that, especially you A.W. Designs, S.J. Relics, that I'm not doing this because I'm trying to undercut you guys or do anything like that. I actually did it because I respect you guys' work and I respect you guys' designs. And I wanted something similar, and I thought I could try to make something and make it a little bit of my own. And I think maybe, because there's not so much you can do with slips, but I think I kind of got my style of slips down. I think that they're fairly straightforward. All they have is my stamp on there. I'm still working on how to do different striations in the leather, coloring and things like that with the leather. And it's, to me, it's expression of art. And it's something I like doing, something I can do at home, sitting at my chair and or at my table when I don't have to get up and go out to my shop when my knee is hurting. But, you know, shout out to Stephen, S.J. Relics, There's others out there, and I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning you guys. You guys that do slips out there that have much more experience than I do. My hat's off to you. You guys do some fantastic work, and I just want to acknowledge that I wanted to emulate some of your guys' artistic flair in some of your guys' slips and try to incorporate that into something a little different. And thank you guys. So now on to the drawing. So as you can see, man, I thought about drawing names from a hat and writing all your guys' names on a piece of paper. And the more I thought about it, writing like 97 or close to 100 people's names on a piece of paper and then cutting them out with scissors, folding them up and putting them into a hat has its benefits. It's old school, and it's cool because you feel like you get that old feeling, or feeling of that old times where you're able to say that that was absolutely a random thing. I think what it boiled down to me was not only convenience, but time. And I want to be able to move on and start working on other things and get the slip out to whoever wins it, and the beads and the stickers and the blade blubber. So as you can see, pulled up here on the left side, and I'll tip this up a little bit. Let me try to get this where it's something viewable so everybody can see. So you could see this is an iPad. It has my browser on the left, and it has a website on the right, and it's app Sortios, and it's a free subscriber generator. And I'm going to utilize this to pick the drawing, or the winners of the drawing. And my coffee got cold. That's my fault, though. I talk too much. So as you can see on the right, I put winners and substitutes too. There's only going to be one winner. But if that winner didn't put the exact quote in their comment, or they're from out of country, or they're a bot, or somebody who didn't want to win a prize, because there are some people that said they didn't want to win a prize because they felt like it wasn't fair because they were new subscribers, which I find is honorable. But I also encourage you guys, if you are a subscriber, new or old, I guess with this channel, everything's new. Every subscriber is new here. So I would encourage you guys to at least, stick around and look at not only my channel, but some of the other channels out there. I know JC Mountain Ajar is getting really close to his goal, I think, of 1,000 subscribers. I'd recommend checking out his channel. Fantastic guy. Nate Calhoun with Calhoun Knives just passed 1,000. Cawthon Cutlery as well. Plenty of guys out there. That pocket knife guy, Thomas, Red Eye Patriot, One Dot Daily, SJ Relics, just to name a few of the guys that I feel have been really supportive of my channel. I want to be able to be as supportive of theirs. But again, go down a rabbit hole. But as you can see, I put Werks, leather slip, beads, blade blubber, etc. I excluded duplicates. There's really no bonuses. But the reason why I put substitutes is exactly why I said. I think even if the first person wins, the next two I'm going to send stickers to, so make sure you guys send me an email. So I'm going to do an animated countdown just because we all like that extra anticipation of having to wait. Not like you guys waited 40 minutes or so already, but I'm going to add 10 seconds to that. And I'm going to confirm it. I'm going to change that out, confirm again. Go here, and of course it puts all the comments. I'm going to verify there's total of 98. If it pulls up mine comment is a pinned comment, and it's not going to be selected. So as you could see, I pause these at midnight and there's all 98 there. So here we go. Drum roll. 3, 2, 1. Hudson Valley Blades, let's see. Blubber on, rubber off. You know what? His comment was, I really appreciated this candid video. It gave me a deeper understanding of you personally. Thank you. So Hudson Valley Blades, email me at warriorworks@alaskan.com. Thank you so much for your support. Oh, look at that. Jersey Knife guy. He was a second runner-up. And Pete's another guy that I want to shout out. Awesome guy. I already got him stickers, so I'm not going to send him any more. But Pete, I'll get you a little bit later. Alla Bottles, and they have rubber on or blubber on, rubber off. Found my channel a few weeks ago, learned a lot. Thank you. Alla Bottles, please email me with your address and I'll get you out a sticker. So with all that being said, you know, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for allowing me to be able to sit here and ramble, share a little bit of my gifts that I received from my family and my friends, some trade items, and to announce a winner of the 500 subscriber giveaway. And I want to say that let's look at where we're at right now. And I know that it's been going up pretty quick, and we're at 564 subscribers right now. So I'm not doing this for the subscribers, but it's really cool in the sense that I feel like I'm reaching out to more people, and more people could benefit from seeing some knife videos. And, you know, it's a great community, and I want to be able to share. So again, you guys take care, stay warm. Talk to you guys, see you guys on the next video. Thank you.